Live Jump with Anita Brad.
And good early morning, late night, everybody. It's Benita, and I am back with the Midnight Pop-Up Show. Just to let you guys know that I'm doing much, much better. I'm doing well. And I thank you guys I want to start off first by saying, welcome to Live Talk with Benita Bradley. I am your host, Benita Bradley. You know, this is a social media platform where we discuss political, educational, religious, relationship, social topics so that we are enlightened, we're entertained, and sometimes we can become controversial. And so I had been trying for the last, maybe 2 or 3 days to learn how to connect to Periscope, Twitter. So now we are also connected live, and we're streaming right now live to Periscope, Twitter. So I'm super excited about that. We're expanding our audience and hopefully expanding our reach. It is really late, so I'm not going to be on really long. But I did want to just pop up real quick on you guys and tell you guys thank you so much. You guys were super incredible during the sudden passing of my mom in May. That's one of the reasons I really needed a break. It was a lot. It still is a lot, but you know, we have to eventually face our fears. Oh, I didn't get Instagram in. Can you guys give me one moment? Let me get them in the house. Let's see. Let's get Instagram in. We're so sorry. Okay, let's get them in the house. Let's get them in. You guys know I'm a bit of an insomniac, so let's go live. Let's see. Oh, do I hit the button? Oh, do I hit that button? Let's see. Live. Okay, guys, it's been a while, so if you don't use it, you'll lose it, child. Let's see. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's get Instagram in the house. Let's see. You might not want to come out tonight. Okay, I might have to work on that. I don't remember how to get them live. Is it this button? Let's see. Oh, I did it. Oh, for me. Okay, guys. Now we're connected. We got Instagram in the house. We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Okay, thank you, child. All right, so guys, listen. We're live. We're live now on Facebook. A couple of streamings on Facebook. We're live streaming now to Periscope, Twitter. I think you have to say those two together. Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram. We now have Instagram in the house. So again, I wanted to just drop in, do a late night pop-up, and just say hey to everybody. Let you guys know I am here. Thank you guys so much for hanging in here with me. You guys have been more than a gracious audience. I know a lot of times when people kind of take some time off to deal with whatever they have to deal with, sometimes, you know, as a content creator, we lose our audience. But you guys have been so incredible. And I thank you so much. All of you that made phone calls and text messages or what have you, you guys have been super incredible. And again, I just wanted to come on and convey my thanks and let you guys know You know, the show will have some of the same topics. However, we are going a little bit deeper, and we are probably going to be a little bit more controversial in our particular topics that we'll be bringing forward. Okay, so I want you guys to buckle up. I want you to hold on. I want you to grab pen and paper every time we come on, and I want you to be ready to learn some stuff. And I want you to be ready to tell us how you feel about some things, because we have some, like I said, we have some interesting dialogue coming up. And we have some interesting guests coming up too, with some interesting points of views. And not all of my guests hold the same points of views. And of course, not all views are the views of this show or any company or individuals related to this show. We all have opinions, and we are all entitled to our own opinions. And so we don't carry crosses and just burn people, for their particular opinions. So we gladly welcome all opinions, because this is a public format for us to talk about what we need to talk about. Particularly, I created this format to give Black men a voice and a safe place to say, hey, here's what we need. Here's what we wanted to say, but we could not say it without being attacked. We couldn't say it without being ridiculed. We couldn't say it without being, accused of not loving or not protecting Black women. And so I created this platform with that in mind, as well as dealing with issues of mental illness in the Black community and in the Black church. How do we approach those issues? One of the things that we're really going to get into going forward, and you may want to jot some of these topics down, because you may want to be a guest on one of the shows or have some input during one of the shows. One of the things we're going to talk about going forward is femininity and feminine energy. That has been such a long passion of mine. I was sharing with a friend today how I started talking about that back when I was 24. I will be 54 next month, if the Lord says the same. I'll be 54 in August, first week of August, if the Lord says the same. And I've been talking about feminine energy since I was 24. And I hate to use this word, and I hate to say it like this, because this makes women so edgy. When you talk about knowing our place and you start talking about roles and all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. And if we don't talk about it, then we'll continue to see our culture continue to gravitate to a less presentable, way of doing things, or a less acceptable way of doing things, or a less workable way of doing things, because everybody else is doing it or someone else is doing it and it seems to be working for them does not necessarily mean that's what you should adopt or adapt to yourself, or for your particular culture to be doing at this particular time. You got to know what you need to be doing for your culture and for yourself as well. So one of the first things we're going to talk about going forward, we're going to be talking about femininity and feminine energy. I was really big on that a long time ago, and then I succumbed to adult peer pressure. Did you not know adult peer pressure can be just as ruthless and just as damaging as peer pressure that you go through in school? You still have, even in church, even in ministry. Some of you guys know that I'm also an ordained pastor. Even being in ministry, you got the Mean Girls Club over here. You got the jocks over here. You got the geeks. All of that is the same, whether you're in church, out of church, around the church. You ain't never been to church. It's everywhere. So I don't want to ever give the indication that I give out indictments against the church, that I don't talk about things in other places. Honey, listen, this show is uncensored. There is no subject, no content off limit. If I'm allowed to talk about it on social media, you can best believe we're going to talk about it. And if I can say it without getting banned, blocked, or demonetized or whatever the case, then I'm going to say it. I think as long as I keep within the boundaries of respecting everybody and respecting other people's opinion as they come on and give them, but also I am going to lean more towards truth. I'm going to lean more towards what's factual. I'm going to lean towards more when I do data research. I'm going to lean more towards that than I will even my own personal opinion on some of these subject matters, because we need to talk about it, okay? We got to talk about what we got to talk about. So the other thing we're going to really get back into heavily is, hold on, let's see if they are still here. Did I do it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, so the other thing we're going to talk about, mental illness in the Black community and the Black church. Some of you that follow me regularly, you guys know that was the foundation of the show in the beginning. The first show was first called What's on Your Mind, because when I first started the show, I didn't really know what to call it except for What's on Your Mind. Then when I met with my branding team and all of that, they said, was like, hey, you need your show, you need your name in your show so that it identifies with your brand. Okay, cool. So then we changed the name to Live Talk with Benita Bradley. But the basis of the show has remained the same, where we talk about how does the Black community handle mental illness? How does the Black church? And I know we don't like to get into Black church, white church. And listen, I understand your reasoning behind that. However, it is what it is. It has always been that way, and it probably always will be that way, period. And so we want to talk about how does the Black church address issues of mental illness? How do we handle people when they're faced with diagnosis of mental illness? Are we still at the point where we're saying, oh, we can just put oil on everybody and everybody has a demon, everything is a spirit, everything we can't educationally or medically understand, we automatically assign it to something spiritual or something demonic, which is, to me, one of the most egregious errors the church has made, is making, and will continue to make unless we start having these hard conversations like I am bringing to your forefront, okay? The other thing we're going to talk about, I might touch on this just a little bit tonight, depending on how much time my voice holds up, because it is late. The Black man's public enemy number one. I got that from a conversation today. Well, quite a few conversations, but that particular statement came from a conversation with a dear, dear, dear gentleman friend of mine today. And we were talking about one of the posts that I put up in my group on Facebook, Live Talk with Benita Bradley. If you're able, go on Facebook, find that group, and send in a request to join. Either myself or one of the moderators will see if you responded to the answers. If not, then we'll send you a message telling you to respond to the answers. Once you respond, we'll let you in the group. That's just the way we do things, okay? And we're trying to grow the group exponentially, and we need your numbers, okay? So we're going to talk about the Black man's public enemy number one. And I dare to say, I wouldn't even ask you to guess on a real good, because it's late. I understand all of our mental faculties are not probably clicking all on the same cylinders. But the main thing he said to me, it didn't shock me. It didn't shock me at all. We have a guest on with us late night, Mr. Cory Keith. I'm going to let him in. Let's see. Let me see. Can I get him in? Hey, Mr. Keith, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. I was just going over some of the topics that we're going to be talking about as I work my way back to the show. Cory, why don't you first introduce yourself to our audience tonight?
My name is Cory Keith. I'm a computer and electronic engineer, also a veteran who served 15 years in the desert, from Desert Storm to 9/11, Operation Rapid Freedom, Operation Desert Storm, and so on.
All right. Thank you so much. And one of the topics where I was on now, I had a conversation with a friend earlier, He said something, and I wanted to talk to you about it as well, because you and I have had this conversation a lot of times as well. He said something to me. He said, "You want to know what the black man's public enemy number one is?" And I said to him, I said, "What is it?" He said, "The black woman." He said, "That is the black man's public enemy number one." He said, "Are you surprised I said that?" I said, "No, I'm not surprised, but I need you to elaborate on it a little bit more." So I'm going to come back to that with you. The next subject we're going to be talking about is why submission is still such a huge argument between our black men and our black women. Why are we still having such a argument about something that's in the Bible? And if submission is such a bad thing, then why does God require it? Again, if submission is such a bad thing, then why is it in the Bible? Why does God require it? Why does God even mention it? So I really want to dig into, in some of our conversations and some of our shows coming up, I really, really, really want to dig into, why are we still having such a age-long discussion about submission between black men and black women? I mean, like, at what point is somebody gonna say, you know what, I give up? You right about this. It's in the Bible. That's what he said. That's what he meant. Okay, I'm just gonna give into that. And the other thing we're going to be talking about is, what did you learn from church about relationships, femininity, masculinity, romance, sex, accountability, and so much more? Because I will say, and I said at the beginning, it's not that I like to issue indictments against the church. However, I do feel that the church has done a great disservice in some of the things that we should have been taught earlier when we were in Sunday school, when we were going to Bible study. I think a lot of, when we broke out into women's meeting or men's meeting or teen meetings, we should have been taught a lot more than we have been taught, so that we would have been better prepared to face the reality of life outside of church, if you will, or outside the four walls of the church. So one of the things, Mrs. Keith, I want to get back to you is, what do you think about that comment about the black man's public enemy number one is the black woman? How did you feel when you hear that? What do you think about that?
It's not as surprising as most people would think it is, as a fellow black man, because when you think about what he said and you put it in context, when you talk about public enemy number one, black women are constantly belittling black men, look down upon us because of their lack of accountability and bad choices in black men. You can't sit here and say, "Oh, there's no good black man out here," when statistics doesn't support that.
Right.
And when you sit here, excuse me, when I hear black women down black men, and you go back and you ask them the question, "Well, what are the type of men you dating? Where are you finding these?" The answers always seem to generate around three answers: the club. Okay. Well, good black men are not at the club.
Right.
I met him on the corner, sitting around, pants hanging down. Like, pants hanging down?
Right.
Good man don't have their pants sagging. That's ridiculous. But these are the type of men they talk about and they like to put down. They're not talking about doctors, lawyers, educated black men, professionals. They're talking about your lower level men that are, well, I should say young boys that are still learning how to be men. And you can't judge a grown man by what a boy does. That's not the same criteria. It's not even on the same ballpark.
Right.
So that's the thing that I think, if black women sit down and really think about it and talk to people, other black men, and have an open dialogue, you'll find out there's a lot of good black men. You'll understand that we don't think the same. We have different interests and things that drive and motivate us. So you take that into account, then we can all get together and kind of be like a band on the same sheet of music on the same note.
Yeah, I would imagine the music would become much sweeter and the melody would be much more soothing if we all did get on the same page, on the same note, get in sync with one another. But the reality of that actually happening between Black men and Black women, such as we are right now, what do you think, if you had to gauge that on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you think that the actuality of that happening would fall? Like right now, today.
I love to be optimistic, but this is looking like around a 2 or 3 of that happening, because a lot of people are in denial of the situation that is around them. And when you got to admit there's an issue.
Yeah.
You want to admit there's an issue as young Black women and women and older Black women, then you can never get to a place where you can reconcile and come to the table and have an open dialogue. And that's the issue. You have young Black women who believe they don't need a man. They can do everything that a man can do, and that's not actually true. But that's what they believe. And you have Black men that's out here looking. By statistic, over 51% of Black men are single and childless. 63%, over 63% is in the middle class. So you have good brothers making good money that are single, never been married, no kids. But you hear women always talking about they can't find them. They don't know where they are. They probably have approached you, just that he didn't come to you with some lame pickup line. He just came straight at you and like a man would and say, "Hey, I like you. You look nice. Hey, we like to change numbers." That's straight to the point. Men are straight to the point. So if you're looking for some fancy pickup line, "Hey girl, you look so sweet over there. You give me tooth decay." You're not gonna get that. The pickup lines are not there. I'm just telling you.
That sounds like some old Buster.
Well, some of these women looking for an entertaining pickup line.
Right.
We just don't have them. I mean, we can make up some, but that's just not who we are. In our character.
And it takes me back to what you said earlier. It brings to mind the question. So if this is the truth you're going to hold to, that there are no good Black men, then where y'all meeting people? You know, you named 2. You said the club, and then you said like the corner, and you didn't give us a third one.
Usually, the other one usually stems from online dating.
Okay.
And online dating is not bad. As a person who's been online dating since the 90s and teaching other people how to online dating and working on a book on online dating.
Okay.
A lot of people go into the perception and conceived notion of online dating as a pickup. No, that's a booty call. Right. No, you can actually make good friends and possibly great relationships if you use the tools correctly. Like you can go out there and put pictures up showing your rear end and expect you to pull a good man, because we don't care about that. And a lot of people, you only get out of it what you put in. So if you write just one sentence, what do you expect? What type of results you're going to get? If you got 10,000 characters, write a book about yourself. And a lot of people cannot write about themselves. So basically what you're doing is you're selling yourself to potential mates online by writing a short paragraph or 2 about who you are and what you bring to the table and what you're looking for. If you can't put that out there, then you're not going to get any good results from online dating. You'll run up with these people, just men that's looking for booty calls. Yeah. And then you want to blame it on, that's all they want is that. Right. Well, look, let me see your profile. Let me see what you put out. Right.
That's what you're advertising.
I see 8 pictures of your butt. I don't see none of your front. I see one face picture. No, you're not going to get good results like that. Yeah. And that's why I tell women that come to me for online dating advice and teaching them and helping them with their profiles on online dating. You have to put out the results and do what you want to get back. Other than that, you're not going to get those results.
And that's really good information, and thank you for that, because I don't know how else to tell women you're going to attract whatever you put out there. And then if women keep saying, well, black men ain't this and black men ain't that, and black men don't protect us, and black men, they're not loyal to us, and black men are not, they don't know how to be faithful. Black men don't take care of their children. Black men this, black men, everything negative about him. So at what point do you all as black men feel like, well, dang, do y'all see, as women, as black women, do you all see any good in us?
See, that's me. I see and hear all that. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. And I think the thing we have to let viewers and people, women, know that look at what your grandparents and great grandparents went through, and mm-hmm. Very few of them got divorces. Married 40, 50, 60 some years, high school sweetheart, 70 mm-hmm. years plus. They weren't together because everything was peachy and creamy and roses. Mm-hmm. There was some tough times down there. Even the Bible says, when you come together and you take that oath unto God to be one, mm-hmm. the devil was always busy trying to tear you apart. Mm-hmm. So you look at back in the 50s and 60s when black people was married at an 80% marriage rate. We had the highest marriage rate amongst any ethnic group. Okay. Even to the far as black men being there for their kids, mm-hmm. It doesn't support it, because black men have always been there for the kids. Statistically, we have the highest number of all men of being there for our kids. Mm-hmm. So I don't get where they come up with this nonsense, because mm-hmm. you pick Joe Blow, who just got out of jail yesterday, you decide to have a baby with him. That doesn't mean all black men are the same way as Newt and Tukey, who just got out of jail, or Newt and Tukey, who met at the club, or Newt and Tukey, you met online dating or at the party, right. Smoking weed and doing all types of. No, we're not the same.
Right.
Then when I hear, now it's getting so bad. The main thing a lot of women got to understand, black women, you were sold this independence lie. Mm-hmm. About you can do the same thing as men can do. You can be just as independent. Cosmetology did that to sell a bunch of products to y'all, because women is the highest consumer in the market. Mm-hmm. And you have to sit back and look at it. And if you look at the Bible, a woman is supposed to, your whole purpose and goal in life is a man. Mm-hmm. God made you a helper to man. Mm-hmm. Not to be out here on your own, doing your own thing. That's fine. I understand, it's all right to be single. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be single and you're going to be out there looking, do it correctly. Right. And have some pride and respect about yourself. Mm-hmm. Understand the trends right now is half naked people, right. Half naked women, see-through clothes, and man, the clothes that wouldn't even be acceptable back in the 70s and 80s, mm-hmm. but hardly anything on. And I always tell people that come to me about their profiles is, if you present it's like a kid. You give a kid a toy. Mm-hmm. He's going to play with it until mm-hmm. you give him a new toy, or he gets tired of it. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with men. If you dress like a toy, you're going to get treated like a toy. Mm-hmm. You get upset because you get discarded after a month or two. Right. That's the same way kids do toys. Mm-hmm. If you dress yourself and look apart and look like a wife, mm-hmm. you'll be treated like a wife. A man's mm-hmm. not going to sit there and approach you. A good man would not approach you if you look like a wife and you present yourself. He will approach you. Mm-hmm. But like a toy, good men ain't attracted to half naked women.
Wow, that's deep. One of our Facebook users said, I would say that black men's number one enemy is their ego and pride. I don't know if that's a man or a woman talking, but I can kind of surmise by the comment. But thank you, Facebook user, for your comment. So
let me comment on that, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
Black men are one of the most dominant and strong men on the planet. Mm-hmm. We dominate pretty much everything we do, and we rule over it. But if you sit here and talk about our ego and pride, no, we don't. Yes, mm-hmm. we have a lot of pride, and we have high self-esteem. It's just that the good man won't accept anything, just like women shouldn't be accepting any old man.
Right.
You want a man to be a provider, but you pick somebody with no job. That doesn't make any sense to me. You say you want to be protected, but your man is in jail. Who's protecting you while he's in jail? So no, let's use common sense about this and not just throw out things that doesn't apply. Right. I mean, if you're going to talk about things, let's talk about what apply to the vast majority of Black people and the struggles that we have. And it's not our egos. I would say it's the opposite. I believe it's women who have very high ego and pride because they come up with these standards that are unrealistic. Like they want somebody who makes 6 figures and have all this stuff, but you have to understand only 8% of men make 6 figures, and that's all. If you only want to date Black men, that's an even smaller number. Everybody can't have a 6-figure man. Somebody got to take somebody who make less than 6 figures. And I think women have to realize if every woman got married today, that's over 2 million women who would not get married. There's not enough Black men out there for every Black woman. Right. So but
they are out there.
They are. There's a lot of good Black men out there, but they have to learn how to recognize these men and look at what they bring to the table, like our grandparents used to look at the morals, the values. What are their principles? You can't look at, oh man, he got a nice car. Oh, he got a Rolex on. Man, that's the Lamborghini he's driving. That doesn't make a good man. Because pulling up in the projects in a Lamborghini is not cute. I promise you.
At all.
And I've seen it, and I'm like, what? That blew my mind.
Make sense.
Yeah, and they actually live there. But for the lady who says that Black men number one enemy is their ego and pride, no, our number one enemy is the media and how we are portrayed as being thugs and no good. That's our number one enemy. It's not our ego and pride.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that narrative of Black men coming off as egotistical and prideful, I think we want you all to have, well, let me speak for myself. I want my man to have pride. I want him to know himself. I want him to understand that he was given dominion over this earth by the creator of it himself. And that I also want him to understand that that there are women out there, and I know, again, women don't like it to hear it in this way, but there are women that understand roles. You know, there are women who were taught that. You know, my mom always had this saying, you know, men provide for outside the house, which means men go out and work and take care of the yard and do things outside the house. And the women took care of everything that pertained to inside of the house, and not just physically, but the atmosphere of the house, the tone of the house, the ability to find peace in the house, the quiet and the calm of the house. All of that rests on the woman's responsibility. And that's what we were taught, so I don't know if it's a matter of teachings that have changed down through the years, or do you think it's more of a matter of accountability? Because sometimes women can be taught, but then they get into this, they might run into a bad relationship and come out of that, well, I ain't letting nobody else tell me what to do ever. So now they don't want to take accountability that, okay, yeah, he might have done you wrong, but this is somebody you chose. And then you chose to stay in that long enough till it made you angry. Your anger turned into resentment. Your resentment turned into bitterness. And now you look at all men the same way you saw him.
I want to comment on what you said earlier. That was a very wise woman who said the man's job is to take care of what's outside the house, woman's on the inside. And far as the other 2 point you mentioned about accountability and teaching, I will also have to add media and bad relationships, like you mentioned, because if you have been shown a perfect example how a family structure, healthy family structure is supposed to be like. Why are you trying to deviate from it? If your grandparents and great grandparents are married 50, 60 years and all the hardship that they've been through, why are you trying to change the role? And I understand that as a parent, you try to be better than your father and mother were and try to change how you're parenting. But there's certain things that are core that need to be taught and that are not being taught today is how we're not teaching young men how to be real men. So we're bringing up the non-protectors. When we teach women how to be so independent that they don't have no idea how to be a wife. The man is the head of his household, not the woman. And when the king has to fight with the queen over who's in charge, then the house is out of order. And there's no blessings that will come to that house until it's back in order. And when you have, and the media has portrayed that, oh, I don't have to be submissive, or I can be the head of my own house. Yes, you can find a man who will let you be head of the house, but God won't be there because God speaks to the man, and the man speaks to you. So it's out of order. Who he's going to speak to if you're the head? And the man is being covered by the woman. It's nobody for him to speak to, so God is not there. Until y'all reverse the roles, then blessings will pour onto you. But you have to get that fixed. And that's the thing with women, with the submissiveness. I don't understand what's the big deal about being submissive to a man. You go to work, you got a job, you're submissive to somebody, whether it's a man or a woman.
Watch it, sir. Watch it.
So if you have a job, you can be submissive at work. That's what it is.
Right.
You can't tell the boss what to do.
Right.
You can, but you won't have a job very long.
Yeah, you're going to go in early and you're going to stay late if you have to.
You're going to have an early day off. But, be like Friday. How you get fired on your day off? I mean, let's be serious about it. Right. But submissive is not a bad thing if you pick the right man. The fear of he's not going to listen to me. He's not going to value what I say. I have no input. A good man is going to always listen to his woman. He's going to always ask you for your opinion. For me, for example, I don't want to ask. Just give me your opinion. If you got something to say it because I need to hear it. You are there as his advisor, his helpmate. You can't help with your mouth closed.
Right.
So a man is always listening for your input. And believe me, it's going to weigh pretty heavy on decisions that he decided to make. But you have to understand that man has the final decision. So pick a man who you can trust to make good final decision, whether it's finances, because a man is supposed to be a leader. If you're picking followers to lead you that has never led anything in their life, then obviously you picked the wrong man. And that's your fault, not the man's fault. Maybe he's still learning how to be a leader, and you came along and you was the finest thing he ever dated. So he jumped on in with both feet, and it didn't work out too well.
Right.
So you have to work together. It's a team effort. I know people love iPhones and Apple products, but there's no I in team. Right. It's us together working together. And that's what it takes to make a relationship work. So if ever, like on a team, there's a captain on every team. Right. If it was 5, 6, 10 captain, everybody was a captain, nothing will ever get done. If everybody was a boss at Taco Bell, at McDonald's, no orders would ever get made and sent out the door because everybody's arguing. Right. Somebody has to be in charge. As my mother always say, a village of Indians can't rule if everybody decide to be the chief. Yeah. There's only can be one chief. Only can be one. The rest of the Indians got to be followers. So you take that into account. Submissive is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. And to have that burden lifted off and put on the shoulders of somebody who can bear the burden, the stress, the aggravation, the mental fortitude to be able to withstand the constant attacks and problems that come up. Most men are pretty good, quick problem solvers. Men are always trying to problem solve any problem their woman brings to them. Even though as men, we might need to listen a little bit more when we try to solve a problem, but we do have an issue because that's our nature, is to solve a problem. And even I've been told a few times, hey, I just want to air out a problem. I don't want you to try to solve it. Right. That's one of the problems that men have. We're always trying to solve problems when women come to us and tell us their concerns or issues. that might not have nothing to do with us. Might be something at work, might be a relationship between a family member or cousin, best friend. We just have to listen. But it's submissive is not a bad thing. It's a great thing when used correctly.
When used correctly. Now that's an excellent note to end on, because I really just want to do a quick pop-up show. I'm certainly we're gonna have you back when we get into the meat and potatoes of these particular topics, especially because I do want to I'm gonna deal with the black man's public enemy number one, because I think our whoever that was commenting felt a little different about the black man's public enemy number one being a black woman. I personally think there's some truth in there. We'll get into that on the next show. Is there also some pride and ego in there sometimes? Yes, I believe that is also a factor. But I also believe that at some point, we as women, we have to start saying, I think this way about black men because of the black men I have chosen, and not because this is what all black men have shown me.
And that's the thing I think it has really brought back to the point where you mentioned accountability. Mm-hmm. Accountability has left the window, and everybody wants to play the victim role. Mm-hmm. And I tell women when it comes to dating, they talk to me about all these issues they have with black men. Mm-hmm. I said the only common denominator in all these different relationships is you. Yeah, you're the only common denominator. Mm-hmm. So if you grab a mirror and look at it, you're the issue. Yeah. Either it's your choice, or what your standards are too low, or how are you picking your man? Mm-hmm. You can't pick. Now, everybody wants physical attraction. Believe me, we all do. We all want somebody that look good. Right. But you can't base it off material things. Mm-hmm. How big is this house? How fancy is this car? Is it a BMW, Mercedes, Rolls Royce? Every good man don't drive those cars. Right. A lot of players do, because they know that women are attracted to those materialistic things. Right. But when you start asking the right question, when women sit down and ask a man, what do you bring to the table? Mm-hmm. What makes you, like a good friend asked me, what makes you husband material? Mm-hmm. When you ask those right questions, you start to have a better outcome. Mm-hmm. Because man can't answer those questions. Now, obviously, he's not ready to live. Right. That's the first sign right there. I agree. So, I think a few more shows on going deeper into these things. A lady who posted that question made that statement about man ego and pride gets in the way. That's a good statement to make, because you can have a whole show just about public enemy number one for a black man. Would you say it's a black woman? Or his pride and ego. Yeah. Yeah. Because it could be all, it could be one, or it could be none, but we definitely want to dig deeper into that and unpack all three of those avenues. And we definitely want to talk more about submission and why it's just still such a struggle. We want to get into all of those topics going forward. Ms. Keith, I thank you for joining me at this late hour on this pop-up night show. We are streaming live to Facebook. We're streaming live to Periscope Twitter now. This is our first night being live on Periscope Twitter. It took me a while to figure that out, but we are live on Periscope Twitter because once we got it all connected, I still wasn't able to live stream. And I was Googling, how do you live stream to this and that? So first I gave up, and I had to come back, and then I went back through the steps, and then it said, do you authorize? And I clicked it, because I knew once I saw, do you authorize, I had it. So sometimes we have to step away from the problem, clear our thoughts, and come back with a fresh set of eyes and perspective on things in order to make it all work out. And thank you to our Instagram audience, who's always faithful. They normally have the most comments. But tonight, again, no one knew I was coming on this pop-up show. That's the purpose of a pop-up show. But
I do believe as people awaken, as the sun rises, and they see this show, and they hear what we have talked about, and they hear the comments, and they hear what my guests have said, my hope is that it sparks even more dialogue, even if it has to come controversial. I don't know about you, Mr. Keith, but I'm not afraid of a little controversy. So
No, I welcome anybody who has a different opinion of what we were talking about or are in opposition. No, let's have a conversation about it, and let's try to find middle ground, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to do it as a generation and as a whole ethnic group of people. Is we're gonna have to sit down, come to the table, have these grown folks conversation. Ain't run away, like a little boy or a little girl from the problem. We're gonna have to come together and talk. And I believe when we do that, and answer some of the questions, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be plenty of people with questions and different opinions. Maybe we have to do a Q&A section to this show and let people.
I'll let them ask you all the questions.
Hey, I'm ready.
Put you in the spotlight for a minute. Put you in the hot seat.
Well, I guess I better get ready then. I'm gonna be on World.
Mr. Keith, take it away. You're live.
Yeah, I think I might be on World Star now.
Right.
Things I said. But that's fine. I can handle the heat. I'm used to it.
Well, that's good. Again, thank you so much for sharing this late night hour with me. And again, thank you, audience, for tuning in. Those of you that will see this broadcast when you wake up, all I'm just going to tell you, put your seatbelt on and be ready to go on the ride, okay? Because we were live up in here tonight. And so with that being said, we're going to see you guys back here soon. Again, thank you all for being so kind to me during the recent and sudden passing of my mother. Thank you guys for just taking good care of me and staying with me. I'm thankful that I did not lose any of you. You guys have even multiplied. Don't forget, we're also on YouTube. Go on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Click the little bell, so you'll be notified every time we go live. And then now we're on Periscope, Twitter. Go over there and follow us, so you'll be notified and stay connected with us. Oh, and go on Twitter. What's my Twitter handle? Not Twitter. My Instagram handle. One second, I'll give it to you right here. Let me give you my Instagram handle. My Instagram handle is just my name, okay? Benita Bradley. That's my Instagram handle. Look for me on Instagram. Follow me on there. And then you'll be notified anytime I go live on Instagram. Also on Facebook, I have Live Talk with the Benita Bradley group. It is a private group because I am very particular about protecting the opinions and rights of my followers. But we will let you in. Go over there, Live Talk with Benita Bradley on Facebook. Look us up. Send us a request to join. Either myself or one of the moderators will have you to go through the questions. You answer those questions. You agree to the rules, and we'll let you in. All right? All right. So that being said, those are all the ways you can keep up with us. And you can also, my website is on the screen there. If you like to support this show, all of that information is on the screen. It's going to be on all of our social media platforms. The website and how to support the show will be there. All right. So until next time, Mr. Cory Keith, any last words that you'd like to leave?
Pay attention to future episodes of the show. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some mind-blowing conversation that I had, like she said, fasten your seatbelt. Be ready for the roller coaster ride, because we're going to hit some hot button topics on this show, and you don't want to miss out.
All right.
You can leave your comments down below so we can read them and answer your questions in future episodes. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to be on, and hopefully see you again on the next show.
My pleasure as well. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.